Those of you who have watched my channel before know that I'm a bit of a Les Paul fanatic. I have an Amber Burst. I have a Les Paul Nightfall that I modded to be a Randy Rhoads finish. I have a Korean era Cherry Sunburst, which, by the way, this was my high school graduation present's first guitar I ever owned that was actually mine. I have a Blue Burst Standard Pro with quilt top. I have an Ultra 3 in Cherry Sunburst. I have a custom that I modded to be a Chrome Bullseye. I have an Ace Frehley signature. I have a Gibson Les Paul in Blueberry Burst. I have another Korean era in Emerald Green Burst. I have a Jackson Monarch. I have a Warmoth Les Paul. For any of you who ever came to see Shatterbone, you know this is one of my main guitars that I played live for years. I have another Warmoth in Emerald Green Burst. I have a custom Dresch in Transparent Purple Quilt. And of course the one you saw me build in summer of 2023, if you watched that build, which is also a Les Paul type with a quilt lacy maple top. And I even have an Epi Mini. I also have a Cadillac, Dean Cadillac in Quilt Blue Burst. So you could say I have a strong love for Les Pauls. So, I love Les Pauls. So I'm gonna build another one. But I don't want it to be just the same thing that I've always done. Pretty much every one of the Les Pauls that I own is a mahogany body with a mahogany neck, rosewood or ebony fretboard, and that's great. I mean, it's worked for almost a century now, you know, which is terrifying to think that the 50s is... We're only like 25 years from the century mark for the Les Paul, which is horrifying, but at the same time, anyway, sorry. I want to do something a little bit different. I want to make a Les Paul that's not a Les Paul. Okay, so here's the thing. I love a lot of things about the Les Paul. I like the body shape. I like the way the necks feel. I like them a little thick. You know, I'm more into the 50s neck. But I like the way they feel. I'm a big fan of 7-strings. You know, if you've listened to Shatterbone or anything like that, I mean, a lot of our stuff was done on 7-strings. I have a couple of 7-strings that are Tune-o-matic bridge and stop bar tailpiece, or Tune-o-matic bridge strung through body. I don't have a 7-string with a Floyd Rose on it. I've owned a couple Ibanez Universes over the years, but I really didn't like those guitars because of the pickups weren't that hot. And they, of course, you know, they're the obscure ones of Steve Vai's. And you can't get like a Duncan Distortion in neon green bobbins or anything like that, or at least you couldn't at the time, so I ended up selling them off. So I want a Les Paul. I want a 7-string Les Paul. I want a 7-string Les Paul with a Floyd Rose on it. Okay, so we're already getting pretty wild here. I'm only going to put a bridge pickup on it. There's not going to be a neck pickup. Just the bridge. Which, again, you know, that's pretty wild. They're out there, but not as common as most people think. I am going with an ash wood body. So I've got a one-piece ash billet here that I'm going to use for the body. Got a little bit of a funny coloration piece here, but I don't think that'll matter by the time I get a top on it and all that, I don't think it'll be an issue. So, ash body, maple neck, rock maple neck. A flamed maple fretboard. I don't know if you can see the flamey in that very well. Okay, so a flame maple fretboard. And I might do some staining on that too. Not just leave it white maple. And then the coup de grace. I have this huge billet of absolutely gorgeous quilt maple. And I'm gonna process it down. I'm not gonna do like my last one where I made a huge frickin' quilt top, like a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch cap. I say 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch cap. It was 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch by the time I was done processing it. It started out at 1 inch. So I'm gonna process this down a little bit, but look at the quilt in that. It's just incredible. And I think with the thickness of this billet, I might be able to process this into 2 tops. One thick top and one like 1/4 inch top. So that's gonna be my top. Now for the finish. One of my favorite things in the whole world. I mean, we live here in the Midwest, Mrs. Unit and I. So we get to experience all 4 seasons. Almost winter, winter, still winter, and road construction. But in all seriousness, spring into summer, we get some pretty spooky weather around here at times. Tornadoes, hail, heavy winds, that kind of stuff. But sometimes after a hailstorm, the clouds get this really crazy, bubbly looking effect. It's what's called mammatus clouds. And I've always thought they were so beautiful. And I've always thought I'd like to have a guitar that looks like that. So what my goal is here, I want to do this quilt top to look like mammatus clouds after a storm. So the very tops of it are going to be pink, but down in the grainier parts, I'm going to go blue. There's probably going to be a little bit of purple in there because, you know, pink is a derivative of red and blue is blue, so there's going to be some purple in there. But really when I'm done, I want to have like a dark blue up to pink caps looking kind of like the mammatus clouds. So that's what I'm going to go for on that top. So I have my work cut out for me here because once again I'm tackling a couple things I haven't done before. Some of the things I have, one more thing I'm going to tackle that I haven't done before. I'm going to go set neck on this one. So I'm going to use a long neck tenon and I'm going to set the neck rather than a bolt-on. So this will be my first attempt at gluing a neck in. We'll see how that works. And I might, haven't decided for 100% sure yet or not, but I might go with a faux natural binding. So mask off the edge of the body when I stain it, so it's got a masked binding. As for the back, I can't really tell you what color I'm going to go with the back yet. I'm going to see how the guitar turns out. I'm thinking maybe a really deep blue, but you know, we're going to see how the top finish turns out before I really make a decision on what the back's going to look like. And I'm probably going to spray clear over it just to preserve the stain and stuff like that once it's done. I'd rather not have it fade over time or anything like that. So I'm probably going to spray clear over it. I had really good luck with the Oxford sprays. I might do nitro. I might go poly. I haven't decided yet. We're going to see what happens. But yeah, so there's my declaration for the new year. I have a couple of things that I'm going to finish, honeydew lists and things like that, before I get finished with that. Right now I'm working on a banana stand for Mrs. Unit. So
Yes, please.
this is the base, okay, and then here's the, which is finally glued up now, but this I'm gonna cut the tree out of, and then there's the tree topper, so it looks like a banana tree, and then it'll have a hook underneath it so she can hang the bananas on the counter, so they're not laying on the counter and getting bad. So that was a wifey request. And of course I'm gonna have to change the saw blade in Goliath over there so I can process this down, because that saw blade is not gonna do it. It's too fine of a tooth cut for ripping a 8-inch wide piece of maple, because I'm gonna feed it through like that, and I don't think that blade's gonna do it without burning its way through it, which I don't want to do. So, but anyway, stay tuned, because there's more fun coming. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of my madness. Click like, subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.